The magnificent estate loomed on the outskirts of the city like a quiet testament to riches and influence. Beyond its towering steel barriers resided a gentleman who controlled nearly half the high-rises downtown. A figure whose mere approval could reshape entire corporations in a single evening. Yet despite all his prosperity, despite the polished stone surfaces and crystal fixtures that adorned his domain, he bore a scar no fortune could mend. His little girl Emma was thought to be sightless. From her earliest steps, specialists had declared it so. She never tracked beams of light with her gaze, never stretched toward vibrant hues, never looked up when her father coaxed a grin from her tiny face. The tycoon, Mr. Harlan, shaped his entire existence around this heartbreaking reality. He acquired the finest tactile storybooks, employed the most dedicated attendants, and sealed his feelings behind a fortress of remorse. He held himself responsible for his absence at Emma's birth, for leaving her mother to nurture her through those delicate early weeks. By the time he sought to atone, the damage seemed irreversible. His sole offspring, his only dream, would never behold his features. Thus the grand house turned frigid, inhabited by staff who glided like ghosts, and a father who buried his sorrow in strategy sessions and corporate deals. Emma, clad in flawless dresses, gripped her plush companions and roamed corridors in stillness. All embraced the narrative. All trusted the physician's verdict. All except the housekeeper. Before I guide you further into this tale of anguish, revelation, and renewal, I have a humble plea. If you cherish compassion, miracles, and fresh beginnings, kindly tap the like button, forward this clip to someone craving inspiration, and join our family at Kindness Tales Stories. Your encouragement fuels more narratives that rekindle faith in humanity and tenderness. The housekeeper's name was Nora, a youthful lady in her mid-20s who had been raised with little beyond resolve in her grasp. She labored tirelessly, polishing glossy tiles that mirrored her weary expression and wiping surfaces she could never own. Still, Nora harbored an inner glow that hardship couldn't extinguish. She regarded Emma not as a case to be managed, but as a young soul deserving affection, joy, and companionship. From her very first shift, Nora observed details others overlooked. When she stepped in with a serving platter, Emma's head tilted faintly before any noise escaped. When she placed blooming roses in a container, Emma's stare rested on the vivid blossoms a moment longer than chance allowed. And once, when Nora clumsily let a gleaming clip fall onto the rug, Emma's eyes darted downward as if tracing its shimmer. Nora hesitated to voice her thoughts initially. Who was she? A domestic scraping by to support her younger brothers and sisters back home, to challenge the diagnoses of experts and the convictions of a titan like Mr. Harlan. Yet her soul murmured what her tongue dared not utter. Emma could perceive. Not flawlessly maybe, but sufficiently. Days melted into weeks, and Nora quietly tested her growing hunch. She positioned playthings at varied angles, noting how Emma's fingers reached flawlessly toward the one catching sunlight. She lifted a small beam, feigning tidying, and glimpsed the subtle contraction of Emma's irises. Each clue strengthened her belief, yet it also stirred dread. If mistaken, she risked dismissal. If correct, a devastating secret had been concealed beneath layers of quiet acceptance. The turning point arrived one radiant afternoon when sunlight flooded the play area through soaring panes. Emma sat in her crimson frock, a soft teddy cradled close. Nora softly directed a pocket light toward her face, not to startle, but to confirm once more if a spark lingered. And there it appeared, a glint of awareness, a mirror of radiance, evidence that vision remained. Nora's breath hitched, her fingers quivering in awe. She murmured inwardly, "This little one isn't sightless. She's been confined within a tale that doesn't belong to her." At that instant, footsteps resounded across the sleek surface. Mr. Harlan appeared in the entrance, his tailored attire clashing with his fatigued gaze. He halted, observing Nora holding the beam. Emma's innocent expression turned toward the glow. Suspicion clouded his features, but what unfolded next shattered something deep within him. Emma's eyes wide and vibrant, shimmering, tracking the ray. The atmosphere thickened. Nora braced for ruin, yet it was Emma who broke the hush. She smiled softly and extended a hand toward the brilliance, her gentle voice wavering as she whispered, "It's so dazzling." Mr. Harlan reeled, his pulse racing. For years he had resigned himself to her darkness, bearing guilt like iron shackles on his spirit. To hear those words, to witness his child react, could it be real? Was hope possible? His strength faltered, and for the first time the formidable magnate felt utterly helpless. Nora stood firm, her tone calm despite her racing heart. She detailed every observation, the delicate shifts, the signals others dismissed, the gentle experiments woven into her routine. She admitted her fear of speaking out, yet affirmed her certainty that Emma was not without sight, only misjudged. Mr. Harlan wrestled to comprehend. He recalled the specialists, the countless visits, the somber pronouncements he never challenged. How could a housekeeper lacking formal training perceive what trained eyes missed? And still before him the truth blazed undeniable. What ensued was a flurry of action. New experts were called, not those who had previously given up on Emma, but fresh perspectives open to re-evaluation. Examinations unfolded, beams projected, shapes sketched, and gradually the facts emerged. Emma had a rare disorder that restricted her vision but did not erase it completely. With care, consistency, and proper intervention, her sight could strengthen. Mr. Harlan wept in solitude where no one witnessed. For years he believed his daughter dwelled in shadow, and in his muted grief he had withdrawn, terrified of causing further hurt. Yet all this time she had waited for him to see, to connect, to trust. And it was not vast riches that offered her a future, but the empathy of a housekeeper who refused to look away. As weeks flowed into months, Emma's improvement blossomed like dawn after endless night. She began recognizing shades, the azure of her stuffed bear, the emerald of garden foliage, the amber of sunlight spilling across tiles. Mr. Harlan committed himself fully, sharing illustrated tales, guiding her brush through colorful chaos, chuckling when she pointed at the gleam of his sleeve buttons. Above all, he never forgot Nora. Her bravery had reshaped his daughter's path. He offered wealth, advancement, anything she wished. Nora, ever modest, requested only that Emma receive love and patience, gifts no currency could purchase. She remained in the estate not for pay, but for the connection forged with the child whose world expanded daily. Emma's journey spread softly among locals, then throughout the city. It became a legend shared in bazaars and cafes, how a tycoon's daughter, presumed blind, was rescued by a servant's heart. Listeners found solace in it, a gentle nudge that truth often hides in humble corners and that compassion wields greater power than any fortune. For Mr. Harlan, the change ran deep. He no longer gauged success by deals closed or towers named after him, but by the sparkle in his daughter's eyes when she raced to embrace him post-session. He no longer lingered solitary in conference halls. He knelt on playmats, constructing block fortresses with Emma and Nora. The estate, once muted, now echoed with giggles, melodies, and the pure delight of a child uncovering a world she was told she'd never know. And Nora, though she sought no spotlight, became the unsung champion of their tale. To Emma she was more than staff. She was the sibling she never had, the gentle guide who saw beyond labels. To Mr. Harlan, she embodied the truth that life's greatest riches lie not in safes but in the courage to care. If this story stirred your soul, if it echoed that even tiny acts of grace can redirect destinies, please hit like, pass it along, and join Kindness Tales Stories. Your backing keeps these heartfelt, real-life-inspired tales alive. Before we close, one special ask: drop a comment below. Tell us what this meant to you, or share a moment when kindness transformed your path. Your voice may light someone else's way today. And so the estate on the city's edge was no longer merely a symbol of affluence. It became a sanctuary where light flooded both glass and spirit, a haven where a child learned to perceive, a father learned to cherish, and a housekeeper showed that even in the grandest spaces, kindness reigns as the ultimate treasure.